Hello, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of the Free Fork podcast. My name is Michelle Sadowski, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Today, I want to talk about why New Year's resolutions don't work and what we can do instead. But for now, I just wanted to welcome you to 2026. Before we dive in, let's take a moment to just arrive here together. I've decided that in the podcasts, I'd like to do just a little bit of really small grounding right at the very beginning, because for lots of us, this might be the only deep breath that you take today. So if you'll humor me, place your feet on the floor, take a slow breath in through your nose, and a long exhale out through your mouth. That feels good. There's something about this time of year that just feels quiet and chaotic at the same time. It's kind of, if you think about that strange in-between week between Christmas and New Year's, no one really knows what day it is. Everyone's living in loungewear. Routines are just completely blurred, and all bets are off. We've just moved through like the Thanksgiving holiday stretch full of family time, maybe some travel, maybe really rich food, more drinks than we usually have, and often less movement. So wherever you're at right now, maybe you're energized, maybe you're sluggish, hopeful, overwhelmed, just take a moment to actually consider, where am I right now? And just notice it. There's not a need to fix it, no need to judge it. Just be aware of it. That awareness is actually the perfect place to start today's conversation. As we enter a new year, many people feel this really strong pull towards a fresh start. And I'm going to air quote, fresh start. January 1st becomes a symbolic sort of reset button, as if last year was a failure, but this year will finally be the one where everything changes. And almost always, those goals are about health, losing weight, exercising more, eating better. And by January 2nd, the gyms are packed, new diets are underway, and motivation is genuinely at an all-time high. If this sounds familiar, whether now or in years past, I just want to be really clear. This is not coming from a place of judgment, ever. But it is worth gently questioning whether this strategy actually works. Because for most people, it doesn't. I don't believe that trendy, short-term, all-or-nothing goals are the path to sustainable health. And yet, every year, we repeat the same cycle. We set big, overwhelming goals that sound really nice, but don't actually fit into our lives. And we put these goals on a pedestal. And when we don't reach them perfectly, we internalize that as failure. And then comes the familiar thought, I'll start again next week, next month. There's always next year. The issue isn't motivation, and it's not willpower, and it's not discipline. The problem is that we're trying to change our lives on a clock-based mindset instead of a holistic one. We forget that we are whole people, complex, layered, emotional, social, and constantly adapting to the world around us. Real change doesn't come from fixing something that's broken. And again, I'm going to air quote broken. It comes from completely reframing how we see ourselves and deciding how we want to support our growth. And there's a problem with multiple ways in which we set goals for ourselves. The first problem is really in the what. One of the biggest places that people get stuck in is what their goals actually are. A goal like, I want to eat healthier, or I'm going to work out more, are great goals to have, but they're very vague and they're very overwhelming, especially if you're coming from a place from perhaps a really unbalanced diet or you haven't gotten up off the couch in over a year. That can feel very overwhelming to somebody who's starting really from ground zero. And with a goal like that, there's no structure, there's no measurement, and there's no clear sense of success. Often these goals are actually targeting a symptom and not a root issue. There's a really big difference between a goal that is eat healthier and a goal that is I want to aim for 25 grams of fiber per day, at least 4 out of 7 days a week. There's also a really big difference between I want to exercise more and I want to get at least 5,000 steps a day, 4 days a week. Or I want to move my body. Maybe it's walking, yoga, light weights, whatever feels accessible. There's a big difference, if you could hear, in the specificity of the goals, in the way that we're going to achieve the goals, in the ability to measure the goals. And when goals are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, they stop feeling intimidating and they start feeling doable. I just said 5 words that actually build the acronym SMART. Maybe you've heard of SMART goals before. They're often used in the workplace. But it actually works. It's not very exciting, but it does work. And equally important, the goal has to make sense in your life as it currently exists. Not in your ideal life, not in a future version of you with unlimited time and unlimited energy. It has to make sense in your life as it is today. Another piece that is challenging for us when we set goals beyond the what is the why. Intention setting is one of the most powerful tools that we have, and not just once a year. But when we connect to a deeper intention, we give ourselves something to return back to when we inevitably fall off track. And we all do fall off track. But connecting to that initial intention that we set brings us something to return back to. This is where an exercise called the 5 whys, or a root cause analysis, can be really helpful. Here's a simplified example. Someone might say, I want to lose weight. And I might say, okay, that's a good goal, but why? And they might say, I don't feel good in my body. My follow-up might be, why does that matter? And they might say, it's affecting my confidence. And I might ask another question, which is, well, why is confidence important to you? And they might respond with, I avoid photos and social events and even clothes that I used to love wearing. And my follow-up question, if you haven't gotten the pattern yet, might be, and why does that bother you? And they might say, I don't feel like myself anymore. And I again might ask why. Why does that matter? Why is that important? And they might say, because I want to enjoy my life again. And suddenly, the goal really isn't about weight at all. It's about freedom. It's a little bit of like a Socratic method. I remember studying philosophy in my undergrad, and a lot of it was about the Socratic method and asking questions to help people achieve their answers without you telling them what their answers are. I might know right away that when someone says to me they want to lose weight, that it's about more than wanting to lose weight. But for me to just come right out and tell them doesn't really achieve very much. It's much more effective to ask questions and have them arrive at that answer through the why process. And it might not be freedom. Your deeper why might be energy, or self-trust, or confidence, or presence in your relationships. Whatever it might be, once we identify it, that root cause, that root purpose, that deep intention, everything shifts. We stop chasing these surface level fixes and we start working toward meaningful change. And the last piece to goal setting, we've done the what, we've done the why. And we also have to talk about the how. This is where goals really become reality. As humans, it's in our nature to dream up big goals. Execution is the hard part, mostly because we forget to make a plan. And the how is what makes change possible. If your goal is more movement, the plan needs to answer, when will I do that? Where will I do that? How long will it be for? What kind of movement will it be? This might look like Blocking time in your calendar. If you work from home, maybe you block off, a half an hour in your morning in between meetings. Creating a simple movement schedule, starting with 10 to 15 minutes a day. Choosing certain tools that feel supportive as opposed to overwhelming. I would recommend that you start small, avoid overcommitting, and remember, it takes about 2 months for something to become a habit. Eventually, the goal isn't discipline. It's getting to the point where your body actually craves the thing that you're doing. So here's what I'd love for you to take away from today's episode. Instead of asking, what goal should I set this year? Try asking yourself, where am I out of balance? What feels depleted? What areas of my life require more support? In naturopathic and holistic health, we often look at wellness through multiple pillars, not just physical health. Some of the main ones might include, of course, our physical health and our well-being, but also including in that our physical activity, digestive and nutritional elements, emotional and spiritual elements, our work or our career or our purpose, relationships, and there are more. You can't give 100% to all of the pillars all of the time. There simply just aren't enough hours in the day. But being aware of imbalance is really powerful. So take a moment this week to self-reflect honestly and gently. Assess where you're thriving and where you're stretched thin. That self-awareness is the real starting point for change. And once you've taken an opportunity to complete that self-assessment and have a better sense of where your imbalances lie, use that to inform your specific and clear intentioned goals for the remainder of not only 2026, but really the rest of your life. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to continue the conversation. You can always reach out or comment and share what you're reflecting on this year. Check out my blog for deeper dives into holistic goal setting, and I will also include a couple of self-assessments that I found online. I do have big dreams of developing my own one day, but in the interim, I found a couple that might work just to get you started on general pillars that you can start to think about with evaluative, content so that you can actually grade yourself on these pillars. And I'll put them in the show notes for you. But if you wanted to look more deeply, you can also check out my blog. You can also eventually, not yet, work one-on-one with me to explore your goals through a naturopathic and whole person lens. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm really deeply passionate about helping people reconnect with themselves in a way that feels both sustainable and supportive. So with that, I just wanted to thank you so much for being here and for taking this time for yourself. Wishing you much love, and we'll see you again soon.